Let's talk about the keys to victory for the ERROL Spence Jr. versus LAMONT Peterson IBF World Welterweight title fight this Saturday in Brooklyn on Showtime. Let's start with LAMONT Peterson. First key to victory for LAMONT Peterson is to use the jab. Sometimes the Barry Hunter school of doing things is to walk right in and start ripping shots to the body with no jab as you come in. If you look at Dusty Harrison, he got beat up against Mike Dallas Jr. using the Barry Hunter method. And there were rounds where Peterson did it in his fight with Amir Khan. And while Khan took advantage of it early in that fight, he let LAMONT off the hook later on. And it contributed to costing him that fight, notwithstanding the referee. LAMONT needs to jab with authority, sometimes doubling the jab up, tripling the jab up. And one key when you double and triple the jab up is every once in a while fire some combinations after you throw the jabs. You might find some success. Another key is to smother ERROL Spence Jr. and work the body. Now, the reason I say smother is because while Peterson is good on the inside, Spence Jr. is just as good, if not better. So I like what LAMONT does when he is inside. He's excellent with both hands to either side of the body. So you want him to keep that business as usual as far as that's concerned. Another key for Peterson is try to get Spence Jr. on his toes. ERROL Spence Jr. likes to get within range, plant his feet, and then dig shots to whatever he can hit, specifically the body and the head. But if the arm or shoulder is available, he'll hit those spots too. Why? Because by the time the 7th or 8th round, by the time we get to the 7th or 8th round, he's punched on your joints so much so that they're very sore. And if your shoulders, your elbows, or whatever are sore, you're going to start to drop your hands because it hurts to keep them up. So, and once you drop your hands, that's when he gets you. So, if you're Peterson, you want to try to keep him off balance and try to get him out of range as much as possible. And that goes hand in hand with another point I'm going to make in a minute. Next, if you can get Spence on his toes, then go a step further and get him to go backwards. He can't fight in retreat mode. Now, you won't get him a lot with this, but your job is to steal around here and there and get this thing to the cards where there'll be a close decision. So if Spence Jr. is backing up, go to work and score, especially early. Now this goes hand in hand with the other point that I made. Use your legs in this fight to score and get out. Contrary to some people's belief, ERROL Spence is not hard to hit. Often his offense is his defense. So Lamont needs to use his lateral movement, create punching angles, and then move laterally again. Another key for Lamont is to look for counter-punching opportunities. ERROL Spence Jr. leaves himself open, sometimes wide open, when he's punching. Look to punch with him. Look to punch with him. Or in between punches. You can time Spence with the right hand as he comes inside. You will have opportunities for it, Lamont, so you need to take advantage of that. Another key, stay off the ropes. ERROL Spence Jr. is like Kelly Pavlik in a way. You ask yourself this: how many times do you remember Kelly Pavlik knocking out somebody who was in the middle of the ring? Who was not against the ropes? Well, Spence is the same way. He's hurt people and he's had some knockouts, but most of his knockouts are when the opponent is against the ropes. Peterson needs to keep it in the center. Use movement, which will take you off center a little bit, but don't get trapped in the corner. That's the point I'm trying to make, and that's the key. Lastly, Lamont, you've landed some good lead right hands in the Garcia fight and other fights when you get your timing down. So there are two schools of thoughts when you fight southpaws. The first is to jab a southpaw in order to beat him. The other is to throw the right hand. When people hear things sometimes, they repeat it, and then people hear it, and then they repeat it, and before you know it, everybody's saying it, and it becomes law. So let me clarify something that I hear a lot. The key to beating a southpaw isn't for an orthodox fighter to throw the right hand, like everybody says. The key to beating a southpaw is to throw the lead right hand, the lead right, the sneak right. That's what Lamont should do in this fight. He's good at it. Finally, that wasn't the last one. Finally, throw the uppercut. It will be there for you against ERROL Spence Jr. When you see it, throw the uppercut, and you'll find success. So those are the keys for Lamont Peterson. Let's talk about ERROL Spence Jr., his keys. Okay. ERROL, you definitely love to fight on the inside. And although Peterson is good on the inside, you feel you have more firepower, let alone power. This is your domain, and it'll be interesting to see what happens if the fight goes that way. I think Spence wants that, and we'll see. I think he's going to get it in this fight. Another key, you definitely want to make Peterson fight going backwards. You and Peterson have a come forward style. So someone is going to make someone else go backwards in this fight. Throw your power shots to let Peterson know that someone is going to be you, backing him up. Another key is cut the ring off when Peterson moves. ERROL Spence Jr. cut the ring off well against previous opponents, and he'll have to do this. He'll have to do it this time versus a better fighter. His best opponent was Kell Brook, but Brook wasn't the type of opponent that'll move like I think Peterson is going to move on Saturday night. So Spence is going to have to be on his A game as far as cutting the ring off. Another key, try to move Peterson to the ropes where you can run your combinations off and put him down and possibly out. So definitely a key. Another key for Errol Spence Jr., go to the body often to take the 33-year-old's legs away. Peterson will actually turn 34 next week, and he also hasn't fought in about a year. So Errol Spence Jr. needs to take those older legs away. Put a little sweat equity in the early and middle rounds and try to get yourself a late stoppage, in other words. Another key, Errol Spence Jr. throws the jab a lot. I mean, a lot. Sometimes he does it as a range finder, and other times he does it as a scoring power shot. So the key is he needs to keep that jab active. Another key, Errol Spence Jr. knows how to get a bit dirty with it on the inside. He's such a quiet or soft-spoken guy, so most people overlook that. But get physical with Peterson on the inside when you aren't punching. I mean, throw your patented elbows that most people pretend that they don't see, but I see it. So use it. Lastly, Lamont Peterson likes to, he shells up quite a bit, with his hands held in a high guard. When he does that, Spence Jr. should go to the body until Lamont's hands begin to drop. Once they drop, go to work. Also, when Lamont does go into that shell defense, fight him exactly like you fought Chris Van Heerden. For those of you who saw that fight, you know what I'm talking about. If not, should be probably on YouTube. Fight him the same way, because Van Heerden used that shell defense also. Alright, so this fight can go two ways. One way is I think it could go to a decision where Peterson does better than most expect, and he'll win between 4 and 6 rounds on the judges' scorecards. I mean, I could see that scenario. The other scenario is that Spence Jr. is going to wear Peterson down and get him out. So, while Peterson has experience, he will be 34 soon, as I mentioned, and he will have been off for almost a year. Now, in some eyes, that might be good. That rest might be good for him. He's always in the gym. However, you have to consider that this is Lamont's second real fight as a welterweight. Now, I mean, he fought Lucas Matisse at 141 pounds, in order to keep his belt in case he lost, which he did. Now, I don't count anything over 140 pounds prior to the Timothy Bradley Jr. fight, except the Antonio Mesquita fight. Peterson was 143 in that fight. He fought Damian Fuller at 143. He fought Danny Garcia at 143 and Felix Diaz at 144. So, the one where he was pretty much a full-fledged welterweight was his fight a year ago, the David Avanesian fight. He came in at 146 and 1/2 pounds. So, if I had to take a guess, I'm going to lean to Errol Spence Jr. in a decent fight to end Lamont Peterson's night just a little bit earlier than Lamont wants to end it. But I do have a feeling that something unexpected may occur. Don't know. We'll see. But make sure you check the fight out. It's a good fight card from almost the first to the last fight based on name recognition. So a lot of the fights probably won't be as competitive as people would like. However, just from a name standpoint, we got some good names on that card. And so for those who are going to watch the fight, I don't know if they're going to do any of that Showtime Extreme stuff and show some of the preliminary bouts. Don't know. But as far as name recognition, especially for those who are going to be there, I mean, one of my favorite guys is, he's only 4-0 right now. His name is Dylan Price. Dylan the Real Deal Price. So maybe in about another 2 years, he'll be on the Superfly 10 card or something like that. A good prospect to watch. Desmond Jarman. He's another prospect to keep your eyes on. He's a featherweight out of Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm not sure if he's tied to the Broner camp. I'm assuming he is. Another prospect out of New York, Richardson Hitchens. He's 3-0. Desmond Jarman is 3-0. Dylan Price is 4-0. Anthony Peterson. He'll be on the card. Adam Konowski, 16-0. You remember him from the fight card with Marcus Brown and Shawnee Monahan, and the main event was Omar Figueroa and Robert Guerrero. And so Adam Konowski is from Brooklyn by way of Poland. And I tell you what, the Polish, oh my gosh, I don't know how many Polish fans were there supporting him with their t-shirts on that fight night. So he has a good following, and he stopped Artur Spilka. So don't be shocked if once the Wilder Ortiz fights happen, don't be shocked if Artur Spilka is, I mean, I'm sorry, don't be shocked if Konowski or Konowski, see his name, let me let me explain it, because I had the I had the pronunciation right in the beginning, but his name is Kownacki, but it's not pronounced Kownacki. And I remember it has like a S sound, and I'm probably saying it wrong, but anyway, don't be surprised if he's the next opponent for Wilder. He's in that sweepstakes along with Dominic Breazeale. I don't think the Joshua fight is going to happen this year, is what I'm saying. So you also got Marcus Brown, probably in line for a title shot this year on the card. And then Robert Easter Jr. versus Javier Fortuna. I think that fight might have some sparks. I wouldn't be surprised if that might bring some excitement. I expect Easter to win, but I think Fortuna might test him a little bit, give him a little scare. Let's put it that way. And then of course Spence versus Peterson. So from top to bottom, it's a pretty good card as far as the names are concerned. And then I expect at least 3 or 4 of the fights to be very competitive. So Make sure you check it out, and we'll catch you in the next one.